Inbounds to the left side of Madison Scott. Guarded by Jordan Lee. 10 seconds to go. Scott trying to drive inside. Down to the baseline. Fadeaway jumper short. Ball loose on the floor. Lee with the rebound for Texas. And they foul her with 2.6 to go. So here we go. Scott the inbound right in front of the Ole Miss bench. Looking. Still looking. Lobs it high in the air. It's picked off by Booker. And that will do it. Madison Booker comes home to Mississippi. Knocks down a key jumper. Comes up with a steal. And the Longhorns get out of Oxford with their 20th win of the season and their 6th SEC win of the year. That was quite the finish to yesterday's game for the Longhorns. Texas with the win over Ole Miss in Oxford, 61-58. We welcome you back to the program. Craig Way alongside the producer, Cameron Parker. I'm very pleased to be joined by the head coach of the Longhorns, and that's Vic Schaefer, who joins us now on the hotline. Vic, this is life in the league, and you told me a week ago after the win over Maryland, you said, this team befuddles me from time to time. And I like that term, and I thought about that when you've had really good performances and then games where you really had to fight for your life against a good Ole Miss team yesterday.
Well, and you got to remember that team yesterday's been in and out of the top 25 this year. They're really good. They're a veteran team. And their best player is a fifth-year senior like Shea in her COVID year. So, we beat a really good team on the road yesterday. It was their 50-year reunion, for their best players and best team over the years. So, it was a great win for our kids. I mean, to be down 8 inside of 5 minutes, 7 inside of outside of 4, outscored them 13-2 down the stretch. We had so many people, contribute to that win yesterday. Finding out 25 minutes before the game that Aaliyah Moore is not going to be available, not having a chance to really practice, knowing that, not even have a shoot around, knowing that. That was, that throws a little bit of a wrench into things. So proud of our kids. We had to play the bus driver defense yesterday a lot, which I don't like, but we had a matchup problem that we had to cover up, and kids did a great job in it.
Hey,
and by the way, good afternoon. Thanks for having me on today.
Yeah, you bet. Now explain bus driver defense. That goes to zone. I know you mixed in a little bit of zone, but that's not your classic, what I've heard you refer to, what opponents do to you, the classic 2-3 hope you miss zone, right?
Right. Yeah, no, we had to play the matchup yesterday a little bit, and I don't know why, but I kind of thought we might. We worked on it a little bit Saturday. We actually spent some significant time because I thought we might have to play it, and sure enough, we did. So, our kids did a good job. I think we held them to 37 points over the 3 quarters that we had to play it, and had 2 quarters of 11 points, the second and the fourth quarter. So the last 5 minutes, though, yesterday was our typical man, and we did a great job. Jordan Lee did a great job with Madison Scott on their team, who's their best player. And, Taylor Jones was special yesterday, 24-6, and 10 out of 11 at the free throw line, 7 for 11 from the field. Obviously, Booker made some big shots for us down the stretch. And I thought Rory really did a good job running her team yesterday. She just really played well, under control, 7 assists. Just did a great job. So we had 17 assists on 22 baskets.
You called timeout when you were down 56-48, 6 minutes to go. Largest deficit of the ball game. They had an 8-point lead in the first half, but they had an 8-point lead there at 56-48. What was the message? Because after that, from that point, your team outscored them 13-2 and really held them completely scoreless the final 4 minutes of the game.
Right. Yeah. I just, we were in a spot. We needed to score. So I'm pretty sure we talked about a set that I wanted to run and get the ball to the right person. They were really struggling guarding Taylor inside. She had basically fouled out their whole post group or had put them in foul trouble. So they were having a hard time dealing with her. And, we went to her a lot. I think she had 10 points in the fourth quarter. But, man, it was physical down there. Somebody said, "Where were you this morning?" I said, "Well, I was following the report for assault." Because she was really getting we'll just say she was getting a lot of attention.
No doubt.
So, it just, but I'm proud of her. She showed a lot of toughness yesterday, Craig. She's really grown in that area. And so I'm happy for her. And obviously I'm kidding about the assault, but it just, she really took a beating yesterday and just kept on ticking, man. She stayed right after it. And she's really grown. Her toughness, her level of competitive spirit and toughness has really improved.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Visiting with Vic Schaefer, Texas women's head coach here on 13 Under the Zone. I'm looking at the updated top 25. Your team's up to number 5 now, moved back up to the number 5 spot. But I'm looking at the other teams here. You haven't played UCLA yet, maybe somewhere down the road in the NCAA. They're number 1. But I'm looking at the teams you played and or will play. South Carolina's number 2. You played them over in Columbia. You're going to get them here on Super Bowl Sunday early that afternoon. Notre Dame's number 3. You had to play them all on the road, overtime game there. You have LSU's number 7. They're here on the 16th. Then you've got Kentucky, number 12. You've got to go there and play. You have Oklahoma, number 13. You've already won up there. You have Maryland, number 14. They were number 8 when you beat them a week ago. Looking at this down there, Tennessee is number 18. They dropped 1 spot after you beat them the other day. West Virginia, you beat down in the tournament in Fort Myers. They're number 21. Alabama, you beat handily. They're number 22. Vanderbilt, you're going to be playing. Shea Ralph has them in the poll for the first time in 11 years. They're in at number 23. So, I mean, I know the beat goes on, and I know it's a murderer's row thing, but I guess that's become life in the SEC. As you knew it when you were coaching Mississippi State, right?
No question. I mean, I think our kids, I was talking to Rory and Maddie earlier today. They stopped by. It's their off day, and we don't do anything. But, it's just it's different. The athleticism, the length is way different in this in this league. And so our kids are really having to adjust to that. You can talk about it all you want, but until you experience it and see it, our kids that have been here, Shay, Rory, that have been here a long time, they're really, they're seeing the difference. And that's no disrespect to the Big 12, but it's just different. So we're adjusting. Our kids are learning to, how to deal with it. And that's what I thought Rory was so special yesterday. She really did a good job and managing our team, managing the game. She was level-headed, solid. She was poised in the noise yesterday. And so really, really good game for her.
I asked you in our pregame conversation if you even needed to say anything to Madison about coming back home to play with 30 plus family and friends there in the stands. And you said, no, she handles all of that really well, and she'll have to do it again when we come back to play Mississippi State. I'm just curious, as a general overall view, I would imagine, I guess it comes down to the individual player, but when you have a player going back to her hometown or her home area, region, to play, is it individual as to whether you even say anything to anyone about that, about how they mentally and emotionally handle that scenario walking into it?
Yeah, I don't think over the years I make too big of a deal over as far as, how somebody's going to play in the game. It needs to be fun. I was so happy for Madison yesterday. She had her 8th grade, I think, history teacher or English teacher at the game yesterday. She didn't know she was going to be there, and she had so much family there. And I'm just happy for her, that she was able to do that, and they got to see her obviously make a big shot. She had 3 big blocks. Defensively was a factor for us. She had 10 rebounds. 4 assists, had 2 steals, 3 block shots. I mean, she had she filled up the stat sheet, more than just points. And so, but that's Madison. And that's why I have so much confidence in her. I don't care if she's missed 5 in a row or made 5 in a row. I promise you, I'm probably still coming to her and going to that well every chance I get.
You and by the way, this comes as no surprise to you. She was named the Naismith Trophy Player of the Week for those 3 games there. And I want to ask you,
cool.
I want to ask you also to tell people a little bit about Aaliyah Crump. For folks who don't know, that's a McDonald's All-American, named a McDonald's All-American today, and she'll be coming in next season. And this is someone who's won gold for the U.S. Women's America Cup in León, Mexico. For that. Nike Hoop Summit, all of those kinds of things. Tell everybody the type of player she'll be or what you envision her to be when she comes in next season.
Yeah, just really excited about her. A great kid, unbelievable family, big guard, 6'1", 6'2". She may be 6'2" now. Has point guard vision like Booker does. She sees the floor. She enjoys the passes much as the bucket. Big time range out to way past the 3-point line, has the mid range, can finish at the rim with contact. Just a really good player. We're super excited about her. I went to Minnesota more than I've ever been there. My staff did a great job recruiting her, and just really gonna make an impact on our team right away, I believe, and fits right in with what we do and how we do it. And so she's going to be somebody everybody's going to love watching. Plays the game extremely hard, tough kid, doesn't mind banging and being physical down there. And, it's going to be fun. She's a really good player, but a great kid.
I'm curious to get your thoughts on something completely different. I remember asking you about this. Well, you were asked about it at length, I think, in news conferences. Last year, as your team embarked on its NCAA tournament journey, you were asked, what do you think about this new format where the NCAA is playing 2 Sweet 16s and 2 Elite 8s at the same site? And last year was Albany and Portland, and your team ultimately got out to the Elite 8 in Portland. This year, it's Birmingham and Spokane, and you were asked what you think of it, and you said, "Well, we haven't done it yet. I want to go through this and see how it's operated and see what I think of it." All right, so there's one under belt. And other than that indelible image, I remember you stepping off the distance out to the 3-point arc in Portland that wasn't far enough out. That was a little bit different. Other than that, what's your thought on it now, having been through it one time as they get ready to do this again, this time with Spokane and Birmingham being the 2 Sweet 16/Elite 8 sites?
Yeah, I'm not a fan. It's too many games in one site, which makes it difficult for teams to practice, have shoot-arounds. They screwed up our time. We were the last team to play one night and the first one to have to practice the next morning.
True.
That's crazy. That's like stupid. But that's what happened. Obviously, we had the court issue. Where we were last year, I was trying to have a press conference and you got some machine with the backup beeper going on right, the 50 feet from me. I mean, just it's a train wreck. And but I don't like that many people at one site. It really inhibits and restricts your ability to practice in the facility, shoot around in the facility, in a timely manner. So I'm not a fan. I don't like it. Wish they'd go back to the 4 predetermined sites and, for the Sweet 16. And
You'd also have a chance to play a
That's
little
how we
closer
do
to
it.
home, wouldn't you, too, if you had that instead of, Birmingham is,
Well,
600 miles away. I mean, that's the closest. In Spokane, you've already done that before a few years ago, way up in the Northwest. I mean, you would think if you put one in the East, one in the South, one in the Midwest, and one in the West, you'd have a shot to play a little bit closer to home.
Craig,
Yeah.
you're talking to the guy that had the number 1 seed in the NCAA tournament, the number 2 team in the country, and they sent me to Oregon to play the 2-seeded Ducks with the best team I ever had. And we got upset as the number 1 seed having to play Sabrina Ionescu's number 2-seeded Ducks in front of 13,000 people dressed in green and black. So for me to think that they would do me that and let me play here in the South versus sending me to Spokane, I'll have to believe it. I'll have to see it to believe it. So there's got to be better ways to do it. And again, I don't like the whole 8 teams at one site trying to get ready to play. I mean, UConn couldn't even stay in their hotel that they were assigned to the first night they were in town. They had to move hotels after their first night to get to the one that they were assigned to because they didn't have any room for them. And so, it's just, I just think there's a better way to do it, but they don't ever ask me. So all I do is show up where they tell me to play.
Which includes, by the way, for folks who don't know, the SEC tournament is in South Carolina's backyard in Greenville. And you've had to deal with that before.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. We just show up wherever they tell us to play and try to do the best we can. And, Greenville, the city of Greenville does a great job. It's just, again, it's 3 hours from South Carolina's campus. It'd be like me playing in Houston or Dallas and then everybody over there having to come this way, and it would affect their fan base and how they traveled. So, but it is what it is. I mean,
yeah,
I'd rather fight the battle of playing on Sundays than fight the battle of getting the SEC tournament changed.
Yeah. It's like playing Iowa State and Kansas City, right? Last year.
Yeah.
And
I mean, we had 3, we beat 3 home teams last year. We played Kansas, we played Kansas State and Iowa State back to back to back. Beat 3. We were the visiting, no question. We were the visiting team 3 straight nights.
Well, I know you're going to lock in on getting ready for Missouri this week. The final thing I wanted to ask you is, when I look at your schedule, and I've read the ranked teams that you still have to play, a bunch of ranked teams. When I look in your schedule, if people look really, really closely, they can see 1 or 2 teams that are struggling. That you still have to deal with. But at this time of year, and I think it was evidence, Ole Miss is a good ball club, but they weren't ranked yesterday when they played your team tough. At this time of year, little of that stuff really even matters, doesn't it? In the message that you have to your group about preparing to go out and play, in this case, it'll be Missouri on Thursday night at 8:00 at home.
Yeah, no, I don't. If you start worrying about that and you're worried, you're thinking, well, they're not ranked or they are ranked or what their record is. I mean, look, I remember our 98 team at Arkansas that went to the Final Four. We were 7-4. You only played 14 SEC games back in that day. And we had to go to Ole Miss on Valentine's Day. They were the worst team in the league by far. And we went in there and got beat like 35. It was the Valentine's Day massacre. And I remember rolling out of there and with Coach Blair and that team would get, we not only lost that one, we lost 2 more to end the season before we won 1 game in the SEC tournament, got beat in the second round, end up having to go out to Stanford to play in that regional. It's the only time the number 1 seed's been beaten on their home floor, and we beat Harvard. They got upset. We beat Harvard to go to the Sweet 16, end up going to the Final Four with that team. But it's just, you start worrying and thinking that way. Look, I know Missouri. tremendous amount of respect for that coach and that program. They are well coached. They will be coached up on Thursday night and will play hard, have a great plan, and we better have a good plan too.
And I know you want to have a good crowd too on Thursday night.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's an 8:00 game because it's on TV, and so we're not, it's 8 at night on a Thursday night, so that'll be hopefully not too challenging. Everybody maybe needs to take a nap before they come to the game, but it is a late tip, but we certainly need our crowd. Our crowd has been so special and really created an incredible home court advantage for our players. And look, this team's special. This team's fun. They're fun to watch. They play the game the right way. We have some really special kids on this team. We have some special, talented kids that you better not take for granted. And I know, me as a coach, I know that. But sometimes as fans, you don't realize, you know what? Kevin Durant ain't just coming around every other year, right? You better realize that we've got some really special players on our team, and you better understand that they're doing a heck of a job, and you need to enjoy them while they're here, and again, Rory Harmon's already had 600 assists. She's going to end up being the all-time assist player in the history of the University of Texas. Booker's fixing to score her 1,000th point in a few games here. She's 50 points shy of her 1,000th point as just a young sophomore. She's got a chance. She'll go down in history as one of the all-time greats, if not the greatest in the history of Texas women's basketball. And so, we've got some Tyler Jones is playing at an incredible level right now. Really doing a great job for us. She's getting the attention of a lot of people at that next level right now. But the biggest thing is she's showing a lot of toughness. She's showing her ability to be physical down there because she is getting worn out, pounded on down there, and she just keeps on fighting. So we've got some really, really good players playing at a really high level, but they're special, and you don't want to take them for granted.
No doubt about it. Next opportunity, Thursday night at Moody at 8:00. Hope to see everybody out there. Vic, I appreciate the time. I'll look forward to seeing you on Thursday. Thanks for joining us today.
Well, as always, Craig, appreciate the opportunity. Appreciate all you do for our athletic department here at the University of Texas, and especially being there for women's basketball. So thanks for having me on. Y'all have a great day. Praise the Lord and hook 'em horns.
Thanks, Vic. That is Texas women's head coach Vic Schaefer. His team number 5 in the country now, 20-2.